Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We have an interesting article here coming from the Ukrainian side, and even worse, there is a Ukrainian governor of Zaporizhzhia Oblast reporting that the Russians conducted a massive attack on Zaporizhzhia. They are very cheap in providing us with details. They give us some details, but not a lot of it. Now I have an article from the Ukrainians, and I checked with the Russians. Hey, what's going on? And the Russians did not provide me with a lot of information on that either. But let's see what the Ukrainians give us so far. This article comes from Kiev Independent, and it is from Saturday, from April 15, Saturday, so from yesterday at 10:50 p.m. So today is the 16th in the morning, so that happened yesterday at 10 p.m. This article. The title is, the governor says Russia launches massive attack, end quote, on Zaporizhzhia Oblast. Russian forces struck Zaporizhzhia Oblast overnight on April 16th. Remember, this article is on the April 15th. The Orthodox Eastern Zaporizhzhia Oblast Governor Yuri Malashko said. A local church in the Komisuvaka settlements of Zaporizhzhia Oblast was damaged as a result of Russia's attack. No services were held there, the governor said. The nearby building was also damaged, he said. Russia also hit a forested area in Zaporizhzhia. Information on casualties and damages is not yet available. Emergency services are working on the ground. On the eve, again, of the Orthodox Easter, Russia attacked Sumy and Chernihiv Oblast. Now this is new. A Russian airstrike injured one civilian in Sumy Oblast late on April 15. The Russian military also struck an enterprise in Chernihiv Oblast, causing a fire. So we have here Eastern Orthodox Eve right here, then we have it again here. Now I would not be surprised this to happen. The problem is not a problem, it's not a problem, it's just an observation. The Ukrainians obviously try to redirect the attacks on being done on civilians, and they attack the Middle Eastern religion of Christianity. And I'm not saying anything that's not accurate, my friends. Get upset with me. If you don't like truth to be told, then don't stay with me. Not that I'm the pinnacle of the truth here, but I know people get offended if you tell them the truth because they don't like that truth. Anyway, let's move on. So that's coming from the Ukrainians. Let's move to the Russians. Russian article, which is their regular update of the front, which lately the Russians have been slackers. That is, they did not update their little front. So let's see. This article comes from Sputnik, and this is from the 14th. That's even 2 days old. Let's put it this way. And the Ukrainians claim that the Russians attacked in Chernihiv and Sumy, and in Zaporizhzhia is right here, Zaporizhzhia Oblast. Now, if I go over here and what the Russians said on the 14th, which obviously is outdated, we see here 5 attacks. These are Russians shelling of the Ukrainian positions. I'm gonna just open each bubble here, and I'm gonna read what the Russians say, and I guarantee you all this would be hitting military targets, okay? Whereas the other article, and remember, this is from 14th. So let's see this one. Forces of the Vostok Group, supported by aviation and artillery, struck Ukraine Armed Forces units. Next one, the same thing. This, let's see what's here. Russian forces destroyed an ammunition depot. Right here. This is the same thing with striking Ukraine Armed Forces. Now, artillery units of the Vostok Group destroyed 2 howitzers. And here, the same thing as the other 4 or whatever they were, 1, 2, 3 actually. So this is what the Russians say about that on the 14th. This guy obviously tell you about the Orthodox Easter, the church, the one injured here, and the nearby buildings were hurt, injured, whatever, destroyed. So they call that a massive attack. Wasn't that the title? Let me see. Yes, governor says that Russia launches massive attack. Well, I don't know about you guys, but for me, massive, let's say, would be a massive attack, would imply, let's say, in one oblast, I would say about 300 missiles. That would be for me. Not even the around 100 that the Russians are doing when they're doing it, which, again, they've been late at their appointment, which is usually once a month. The Russians sent their little missiles, about, as I said, around 100 over the territory of Ukraine. The thing is that I suspect is why the Russians did not do that yet is because of the weather. Obviously, the weather over there is not the same as here, where I live, where you see the leaves starting to pop up and all that. But they did that a lot in the fall, winter, and early spring. Let's put it, not even early spring, because last time they did this was, I think, not even beginning of March, I think it was February. Well, anyway, it doesn't mean it's not coming or planned. And believe me, they didn't run out of ammunition. So here they say massive attack. I don't see any massive attack, unless you give an interpretation however you want to give it. Like these glasses, you want to give them an interpretation and make them heroes of the I don't know, the global love of peace. Then yeah, that's your interpretation of glasses. They're used to. That's all. But if they say it's a massive, according to their interpretation, that's fine. I reported it to you. The problem is, it seems like the Russians, I think these guys in Ukraine, they say massive, but they give you this much information with the church and all that. Which, if that happened, and I'm not eliminating the possibility, probability, I don't think they. I don't want to speak for them, but my assessment is that if they really wanted to hit each and every church because they want to anger and erase the Ukrainian belief in this and that, they could have done it so far. Okay, and you can say, well, they did it. Well, it seems like they still have churches, so I don't think they did it in a year. It's the same thing as, if you remember, the Soviets. The communists were atheists and they were killing priests and destroying churches. That's how the story went here in the free world. When I came here, everybody was saying, yeah. Okay, well, I tell you, that didn't happen. And one of the proof that I can provide is, you're very familiar, I guarantee you, with a red square. I mean, not that you know every corner, but you know there's a little basilica over there, 1 or 2. Now, how in the hell that would be right there when they have their parades? Why didn't they just raise it? I mean, yeah, you can give all kind of reasons, saying, well, that one was kept over there as a symbol of the communist supremacy over the church, or they kept it just because they couldn't do this, like, too obvious, or, well, if you talk like that, the fact is, that didn't happen as you say, or it didn't happen to the extent you say. I mean, I come from a communist country as well, and when I came here, they told me about how Christians were banned from practicing their religion, priests were hanged, churches were razed, and so on. Now, I went to church like a regular person. Nobody stopped me, nobody filmed me. As a child, as an adult, young adult, I could have done all that with no problem. Well, at that time, I was not an adult when it was a communist time. But anyway, nobody prevented anybody to go over there. There were some little problems if you, let's say, you were a member of the Communist Party, but not like a low rank. You would not go over there, not because you wouldn't go or you didn't go. It might look a little bit like hypocritical. But yeah, they had, when were born, you had the baptism. When you were dying, they have, if you choose to have religious or burial or whatever, funeral or not. It was up your choice. And I have many stories in the family with that, even when the situation was very much in Romania at that time, which is the 50s, 1950s, early 1960s. And after that, things loosened up after the Romanians kicked most of the foreign influence in human influence coming from Soviet Union. They were not Russians, I just gotta tell you that. And the Romanians were able to kind of get the reins, but they got them so well that they got Ceausescu. And then after Ceausescu made some mistakes, he was put to grass by the same people who, anyway, not going into this, but someday when we will be able to say what we know, we like freely, then I'm going to share that with you freely. Even if some of my friends suggested that I should open accounts on Rumble, on this and that, and you can say whatever you want, do you think that if I go over there and I say what I know about certain things, that would not affect you and I being able to communicate sooner or later? I strongly doubt that would not affect us at all. Why? Because I've been around the block a few times and I know the possibilities and probabilities of things, or certain things. So anyway, back to these guys. Maybe it was a massive attack, but they made it only to the church, Eastern Orthodox, and a few houses. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.